Gucci? So today Fendi, so
It's hot.
Hey, it's Nikki Jensen.
And Brie Piccone.
And we're
Late to the Party.
A podcast about film, fashion, and pop culture from two best friends mentally in a carefully curated Nancy Meyers kitchen. In anytime from, 1998 to 2015.
Yes.
Because we've been on hiatus. Because Netflix won't give us the budget.
Damn it, Netflix. I know, I thought that was hilarious that, they're like, we won't go over 130 million, which does sound like a lot. But, give Nancy Meyers her kitchen.
I know. Well, we'll talk about that because I feel like Nancy Meyers is justified to have that big of a budget.
I think so.
But today we are discussing Nancy Meyers and her cinematic universe.
Yeah, the NMCU.
Yes, NMCU for short. NMCU Avengers Assemble. But yeah, we're going to talk about Nancy Meyers and her work and all of her films and her style, which I feel like she is the queen of the rom-com. Even though a lot of her movies aren't romantic comedies, but what we as a society associate with, I think Nancy Meyers is just the chick flick director of our times.
She is. She's like the chick flick queen.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. I noticed a lot of her movies, they are 2 hours long, but they don't feel like it. And they're also, I feel like they're definitely made for women. I don't know, it's it taps into this feminine experience, I guess, of sorts, you know?
For sure. I think a Nancy Meyers film is a good, you know, when you've had a stressful day at work or in life and you just want to cozy up with a comfy blanket, sip some tea and have a vanilla candle going? Her movies are the equivalent of that. Just a warm little hug, a little escape.
I was going to say, they feel like an escape. There's always some form of drama, but there's always
But not too much and not too sad, because Nancy Meyers does not like a sad film.
Yeah. But there's heartwarming aspects of it gets you going in the feelings. It's not void of sadness completely or
no
emotion. I don't know, but it's
like a slice of life.
Yeah.
Which she has a lot of Nancy-isms, which we're bound to talk about.
For sure.
But what is your relationship with Nancy Meyers and her work?
Okay, well, I definitely saw The Parent Trap, just like you, back in the day.
10,000 times.
I feel like we wore out that VHS.
It shaped me as a person. I can probably quote The Parent Trap front to back.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I remember trying to switch places with you.
We used to switch places all of The Parent Trap.
We didn't pull it off.
No. However, all we did, because you had a bob haircut for one.
Why didn't you cut your hair?
I know.
In the movie, commit.
Truly. And I feel like growing up, the roles might have reversed now, but growing up, I was a Hallie and you were an Annie for sure. And now I think I'm an Annie and you're a Hallie.
Really?
A little bit. No offense.
Huh.
You've gotten a little more street smart, a little more loosey-goosey, and I've gotten a little more put together.
I used to be put together. That's funny.
You used to wear matching tweed suits
Actually,
and a headband, and now you're
Now look at me, stoner chic.
Yes, and I used to literally wear mismatched clothes.
So in a way, we did switch places.
We did, spiritually.
Wow. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that to light.
Yeah,
I would say The Parent Trap. Something's Gotta Give had an impact on me when it came out. I don't know why. I think it was my introduction to an adult rom. Well, I mean, I'd seen rom-coms, but in a Nancy Meyers rom-com. I hadn't seen What Women Want or The Holiday, and I just remember at that time Jack Nicholson was still
That's
a big
your
deal.
Dude, you love olds.
Yeah, I love olds. I do like Jack Nicholson's all right. I'm not that hardcore as some people might be. I just
that has to be a generational thing because we only know him later in life.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't.
Also from The Shining, and that's like not cute. You know what I mean? Like that's not like that doesn't get. I'm not like, ooh, let me see that fella. You know?
Yeah, like I think we're an old soul in a lot of ways, or like I feel like I'm an old soul in a lot of ways. But Jack Nicholson, I can't name a movie like pre-2000 except The Shining that Jack Nicholson was in.
Oh man, was it One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Oh yeah, that was one. The Shining, and that's it. That's all I got.
That's all I can think. Yeah, I'm like
Something's Gotta Give, About Schmidt, The Departed. That's what I know.
Oh yeah, The Departed.
Jack Nicholson at the Oscars. That's how I know him with the tinted glasses.
Oh yeah,
on a yacht with his belly hanging out, like with all like the hot babes. That's what I know.
Aspirational.
Yes.
You know what I think though? I think that the Diane Keaton of it all is probably what also held my attention in that movie. And I remember just watching a lot of Diane Keaton movies in general because she's been in a lot of kind of like rom-com or heartwarming, like I don't want to say Hallmark movies because they're not Hallmark movies, but I don't know how to describe it.
I don't believe she was in the beginning of her career, just the Woody Allen of it all. But Diane Keaton, like from like Baby Boom, which is written by Nancy Meyers on, she's like a gal's gal.
Yes.
And even movies go because she's in First Wives Club and she's in Book Club. She's done so many Nancy Meyers films. She's really like a patron saint of the female comedy, I guess.
I just love Diane Keaton, and I feel like her characters, like they're usually like aspirational. I just want to be Diane Keaton. Like I love her style, I love her attitude.
I do as well. I think she's like a great symbol of like a working woman. She's like the Nancy Meyers. Well, she's the Nancy Meyers, not doppelganger. What's the word?
I was gonna say though, they do look alike. Like when I was like looking up Nancy Meyers, I'm like, wait a minute. No wonder she cast Diane Keaton.
Well, like, Diane Keaton is the like stand-in for Nancy, I think.
Yeah, I can see that.
But she's also the woman because Nancy Meyers. We'll get into the coastal grandma of it all eventually. I'm assuming because how can you not?
Right.
But Diane Keaton is the great like example of like an affluent white woman who's successful but like single. She's post-divorce.
Yes.
Nancy.
And loving it.
Yeah.
Or sort of loving. I don't know.
Well, finding herself. I think Nancy Meyers movies, too, are a great example. And I think this is why it speaks to so many women. But it's all of her protagonists are older women who are past their prime. Mm-hmm. Like even besides Parent Trap. But even in What Women Want, Helen Hunt is not 20.
No.
She's in her 30s. She's, established. And it's always these like really successful women.
Yes.
And what happens after the first divorce or what happens after they've had the kids and had the dream, like all that society says that they want, there's a second life for them.
And another thing I've noticed is that like not a lot of people are celebrating their success or like their man, their ex, or maybe even their like in the Intern. It's like, I don't know. It's just an interesting theme. I think that like there's like, I guess like whoever their partner is doesn't seem to be providing that like you go, it's like kind of disappointing. And they're like, you see them go through that. And then someone on the outside is like, you deserve like this credit or something.
The older generation.
Yeah.
Nancy Meyers is also a great kind of spokesperson or like a great like patriot for the older men. Mm-hmm. Like with Jack Nicholson or Alec Baldwin or Steve Martin, Robert De Niro, giving them a leading man role again.
That is kind of cool.
Yeah. But I think The Intern's great because, and it is, even if she doesn't get to make another movie again, it is a great final movie in a sense. I hope it's not true.
Yeah.
But it is great final movie because of what you just said, how it takes all these tropes and what we think, what like expectations, and turns them on its head. It's like, yeah, the woman has it all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's like the feminist ideal.
Yeah.
This is what we strive for, what we want, the, you know, third wave feminism. And it's like, what next?
Right.
It really asks the question, like, what's next?
It's a good question.
I think this is what right now we're all going through too. It's like,
yes.
Yeah, you can have it all, but you're not going to have the husband. You're going to get Anders home. No offense. Like, that's because successful women draw out the insecurities in men. It is funny because it's like at the beginning of that journey, and a lot of Nancy Meyers films, like, something's got to give. Mm-hmm. Or it's complicated, or like what happens when the dude finally appreciates the woman.
True. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know how much we'll get into it, but I have thoughts on the intern anyway. I'll save them though. But
yeah, no, I've always loved Nancy Meyers.
Yeah. Tell me about your experience with Nancy Meyers.
Well, The Parent Trap is a seminal movie in my life. It's defined who I am in all the ways. I think that movie and The Parent Trap and
The Parent Trap.
And The Parent Trap, full stop. And The Princess Diaries they're like the movies that defined my childhood. But I didn't see What Women Want. I remember it was a huge hit. Something's Gotta Give, I didn't see at the time. My first Nancy Meyers introduction where I properly knew it was Nancy was The Holiday.
Okay.
And I love The Holiday.
Yeah, I was late to the party on that one, but such a good movie. It's such a comfort film.
Yes, which we did an episode on.
Yes, we did.
Talked all about it. Talked all about Mr. Napkin Head.
Yeah.
The Scooby-Doos of Jack Black.
Uh-huh. He's wild.
And that's when we coined the NMCU.
Yeah.
That was a fun episode.
That was really fun. Yeah, check it out. If you go back, I don't know, what is it, like episode 10 or something? It's like way... Is it really?
I think so.
Yeah, it was one of our first episodes.
Yes. But, what was I going to say? So I loved The Holiday as a kid. And then It's Complicated came out. And that was my phase of, and I'm still not out of the phase of, like, the Meryl Streep as a leading, like box office draw actress.
Yes.
Like, this was her run where she did It's Complicated. She did Mamma Mia.
Yup.
She did Julie and Julia.
Yes, I remember. Julie and Julia is very Nancy Meyers-esque.
Well, it's Nora Ephron, which I always get confused.
I get them confused as well. There was like a few, I forgot what movie it was. There's another movie I was thinking about, and then I'm like, oh wait, maybe it was like When Harry Met Sally. I was thinking, but that's Nora Ephron.
Well, she wrote that, yeah. And I get confused
Love her too, though.
Yes. Well, we got to do Nora Ephron because she's one of the greats.
Yes.
That's a deeper dive, though. I feel like we'd have to read her books, and we'd have to, like,
really get into
give her a proper, because she was a writer. Mm-hmm. I mean, so was Nancy Meyers. Because I think before we get into the movies, let's just say, like, there's Private Benjamin and, like, Baby Boom and Father of the Bride.
Yes.
Irreconcilable Differences. All these movies she did with Charles Shire, her husband. Mm-hmm. Then they split up. During the production of The Parent Trap.
Oh, my gosh.
Maybe had an It's Complicated type situation. I don't know.
I bet they did.
But I get confused between Nora Ephron and Meryl. Or not Meryl, but, like, Nancy because of the Meryl.
Yes.
Because she did Heartburn, which is Nora Ephron wrote that. So she's in both universes. Mm-hmm. And Julie and Julia.
Julie and Julia. That was a good one, too.
I love Julie and Julia.
Meryl Streep is just amazing. I think the way also that Nancy Meyers casts her films, like, you cannot... She's not made a bad movie, and I think part of it is the casting. Like, it's the writing, but it's also the casting, because she casts, like, well-known, like, stars that, I don't know, that
movie
really
stars.
That give.
Something's gotta give.
Yeah.
No, she does cast movie stars.
And they have chemistry. Like, they're doing the most, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think maybe the one with the least amount of chemistry is Helen Hunt and Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
But still.
I still bought it, though, because I was thinking that, too. I'm like, I don't know how this is going to go. But then I was like, okay. I came around to it, like...
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've just been a Nancy Meyers fan all the way through. And then I watched finally last year, Something's Gotta Give, and everything clicked.
Yeah.
Like, that really is her, like, magnum opus in a lot of ways. Even though I think that Diane Keaton should have ended up with Keanu.
That would have been hot.
Take.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. That's kind of like, it's complicated in a way, like, sort of, that she goes with, I don't know. There's a very interesting, something else I noticed about her films is she kind of plays with the idea of, like, maybe dating someone older or younger, or that, like, I don't know. There's something going on there. I don't know how to word it. Like, there's like age gaps. Even if there's not a romantic thing happening, there's like in the Intern, they're not like romantically involved, but
they connect on a level. That's also awesome because we don't see that on screen a lot. Mm-mm. It's like an older person, especially a man, and a young woman just learn a lot from each other.
Yeah.
And help each other grow and go on this journey, but it's not romantic.
Yeah. I don't know what my point was. I wanted her to end up with Keanu too, though. Like, that would have been really cool.
Better fit.
Yeah.
Truly. It's not about age. Age ain't nothing but a number.
Yeah. I get it, though. Like I think what she was trying to say, but...
Yeah. But I love how, like, even then, you know, that was 2003. I think, like, Nancy Meyers in her films explores, I don't know if this is what you're trying to say, but explores that age gap, like who you should be with versus that's like, it's complicated. It's like her heart wants Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Or maybe not her heart, maybe something else.
Maybe like, something else.
But she wants Alec Baldwin.
Uh-huh.
Not good for her. Right. So what if the story goes that you pick the one that's good for you?
Yeah, I feel like from Something's Gotta Give to It's Complicated, there was growth, like, in the main character. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like because she chooses Steve Martin in the end and not Alec Baldwin, you know what I mean? I feel like, because when I think about it, or Something's Gotta Give, I feel like, yeah, Keanu may have been the better option, but
it's also like different fantasies.
Yeah, maybe it's a different fantasy. Yeah, there's a fantasy for everyone in the NMCU.
Yes, or a different journey for everyone.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me think of... Okay, so I don't know if this is going to timestamp us a little bit, but Taylor Swift.
Uh-huh.
You know, Taylor Swift is known for writing songs about love.
Right.
So it's only natural that people would comment on her love life to an extent.
Sure.
Because she has a whole 15-year long catalog of, you know, she started out writing like fairy tale, like she's basically the songwriter version of a Nancy Meyers film.
Oh, okay.
Like she's
high production,
production, never a miss, always slapping. But, you know, she's like working out scenarios. It may be autobiographical, like Nancy, maybe not. She's kind of playing around with what is love, always growing, always evolving. But also she has that element, especially in her early songs, of wish fulfillment.
Mm.
And now she's been in the news because of the Eras Tour, but also because she broke up with her vanilla boyfriend, Joe Alwyn. Thank God. Remember when we did that episode?
Nothing about him did anything for me, but I don't know.
The most boring man.
I didn't really buy it, to be honest. I was just like, oh, I think he's just existing. I don't know.
I mean, he could be her beard. I am also a gaylor, but whatever. Remember that episode we did where we talked about Midnights? Uh-huh. And I was like, maybe we're all gaylors because this man is so vanilla.
We just want to spice it up. We just want to believe she's gay or something. Just
something interesting.
This is too boring. Yeah.
She's found something interesting.
Yeah.
She's chosen a different path. Like, people think Matty Healy is very problematic, which I don't, because I like the 1975. Possibly even before I like Taylor Swift. So.
Right.
But she's picked someone very interesting as her new love interest. And it's this idea that you can be a successful woman on your own and have love interests.
Yes. You can have, I like the fact that there's exploration of like these really, like it doesn't have to be all that serious.
Yeah.
You know?
Back to Nancy. It's like.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense. The Taylor Swift is like the music version of Nancy Meyers.
I love seeing It's Complicated. I love seeing like Meryl Streep's character make bad decisions.
Yes.
I'm like, you go, girl.
When she's poking Smot.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was in 2009. Do you remember every single trailer that they came out? Like, it was always about poking Smot.
Oh my God. Wait, of that movie, you mean?
Yeah, like I remember the trailer just on every TV spot. Maybe it was all like Meryl Streep smoking a doobie.
Maybe that's why I remember that scene so well. Yeah.
I mean, it's complicated.
It is.
But so Nancy Meyers was born in 1949. She's a Philly girl.
Oh, nice. It shows.
It does. I love how she does film most of her movies in New York.
I love that too.
Even It's Complicated, which is set in Santa Barbara. But
it's a vibe. I love when anything's filmed in the city.
I do too. It has a new, like, it has a different, I think because New York City is ever changing, maybe. And it's so influenced by the people. You kind of get that a little more than a movie shot in Vancouver.
Yeah.
No shade.
No shade to Vancouver.
No, but that's probably also why Nancy Meyers films are like, they always go over production. Like, they spend so much money because you get these big stars who, for It's Complicated, Meryl Streep got her initial quote, which never happens. So, like, all these movie stars are getting paid the big bucks.
Yeah, as they should.
Yeah, true. She's shooting on location or, like, just in New York City. That's expensive.
Yep.
She doesn't skimp on music licensing.
I was going to say music, too. I've noticed, like, yeah, there's, like, legit songs.
Always a Rat Pack song.
Always.
Those immaculate kitchens.
Those have to be, do they just, like, build straight up kitchens or, like, model kitchens that they look, like, so, like, detailed and just.
For sure. Well, she's so meticulous. Like, David Fincher level meticulous about interiors. But her mom was an interior designer, so.
Oh, that makes total sense. Yeah. I love that. That'd be so cool to do that for a film. Like, it's interesting though, because like as the director, you don't usually get that involved, right? You might get involved, but you're usually someone else does that kind of research and design for you, right?
For sure. And Nancy has final cut on all her films.
Right. Which that also is rare, right? Like,
very rare. Especially with now.
Studios too, right? Like larger studios probably get the say or something. I don't know. I don't know how it all works.
I don't know exactly the ins and outs, but like I think when we talk about Nancy Meyers, her uphill battle is, I think, the misogyny of it all. Because if she was a man, she would be recognized as like a David Fincher. Just like, oh, he's really like meticulous and like knows what he wants. And, you know, yeah, it goes over production or like it takes more time to set up a shot or she wants to do it like a billion times. But
yeah,
but that's an artist when a man does it. When Nancy Meyers does it for fluff, people, you know, him and haw about it, essentially. Or, you know, final cut. Well, I think that I don't know if that's exactly misogyny because, well, maybe it is in some type of way. Just because there's not as many female directors. And every time there's like a female director, it's like, you should be indebted to us that we like let you in the boys club. It seems is the narrative. So I mean, it just could be like female directors are few and far between, but you hear, you know, like male famous directors getting final cut. It's great. Yeah. Nancy does it. It's viewed from, to me, I'm like, that's badass.
I think that's awesome. Yeah. I agree.
But to some people, it's like,
was like they roll in their eyes. They're like, whatever.
But I feel like that's the thing about Nancy Meyers, too. It's like you're either eye-rolling about her or you're like, she's the greatest filmmaker to ever exist.
Yeah.
So, I'm in that camp.
Same. Yeah.
She don't make no junk.
She doesn't.
She's like a Miramax film. But not as problematic.
No, I don't know. I think I really love what she does. I love the attention to detail. It just means that she cares, you know?
Yeah. It's also like, back to the Marvel, if we're going to call this the NMCU, because Nancy Meyers has a cinematic universe.
She does.
And so many Nancyisms. Why do we get a Marvel movie? Like 2 a year, 3 a year.
Too many.
3 hours long. I mean, yes, they make a lot of money, make a lot of money overseas. But so does Nancy Meyers. What Women Want was like huge. It was maybe the second highest grossing romantic comedy, maybe third now. I don't know. It's up there. It's Complicated did well overseas, I think. So she does make money, but she doesn't Marvel money.
Yeah.
Which is shitty. Because...
Is it just in America, though, that people aren't recognizing?
No, I think it's because, like, a Disney or whatever, like, a studio is... We've been in such, like, a Marvel bubble.
Yeah.
That if you're not making the most money, like Avatar money...
Oh, yeah.
Then you don't exist.
You don't stay at the theater that long either, right? Isn't that a thing? Like, if you... Like, they raised the bar, right, for... kind of what studios kind of want to see as far as
they've made an impossible benchmark for success, though.
Yeah, it's also a totally different movie. If you're going, I mean, it's just, such a different vibe, like a Marvel movie versus like a Nancy Meyers film. You really can't compare them. They're like two totally different things. Like,
and their success and their counter programming. And if we don't have any of that, if you can only go to the movies to see these like crazy. Yeah.
I was going to say, that's why I want to see, like, actually, I don't even know if it's still there. Is 80 for Brady still playing? Do we miss it?
It's on Paramount.
We probably
Plus.
missed it. I hate that, though. Like, I hate the streaming services of it all. I'm sorry. I want to go back to the movies. I don't know. I know a lot of it's probably pandemic related in the aftermath, but I'm still, like, pro movie theater.
I think we have to hold out hope for Oppenheimer. In Barbie this year.
Yes, I really want to see Barbie.
I do too.
We have to.
But I think those two movies have this, because Christopher Nolan movies are still original movies, or like, where he does have a lot of creative control and he is director, like an actual director. And they make a lot of money. And I think with Oppenheimer, there's a real chance, because Tenet, because of the pandemic, it was successful, but the pandemic of it all. This is Nolan's back.
Yes.
It's going to be a huge movie this summer. Greta Gerwig's Barbie.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So I think we'll see this summer if like the movie theater's back. I do want to ask your opinion if we're going down this rabbit hole.
Okay.
So I read this article, I think this morning. I was half asleep, so I think this morning. I don't know.
It's all good.
Basically, it was what we know. Like, it was like Instagram's dead.
Oh.
Twitter's dead.
Yeah, Twitter's is kind of dead, yeah.
Like, social media is dead.
Good.
Like, we're on it, but we don't want to be on it.
Yeah, honestly, I don't. But I know it's what people do. But
and there's like, it was this article where it was like, these are Gen Z's alternatives. And it was like Geneva, which is like female discourse. It was a whole article, but it made me think if, I think we're going to see in the next couple years more authentic voices because the influencer is going to die out. And I think that's
God.
True. But like, I think like the cream is going to rise to the top. I think we're going to get a lot more people that are actually going to have to create things.
Okay.
And not just influence. I think we're going to get a lot more Emma Chamberlains who maybe use YouTube or social media as a starting out point.
Yeah.
And then go into podcasting like she did, or have like a coffee venture.
Doing something with it. Yeah.
I think we're going to have to get back to a place where we do something with it, which is why I really am like glad that we have a podcast. You know what I mean? Like, we could have just been like, well, you know, we could just like do some TikToks.
Yeah, let us influence the people.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that seems, you know, like a couple years ago.
Whatever that means. Yeah. No. Yeah.
But I think we're gonna have to revert back to a level of like, if we're gonna put ourselves out there, yeah, like it's widened who can enter the doors and gain success or notoriety, but you're going to have to do something with it or have actual thoughts.
Sure.
So I wonder with the movies, I don't think we can stand by like the way it's been for the past 5 years with like just Marvel, just Avatar. We can't do that anymore. And Netflix, you know, they've had all those layoffs. They're kind of going down.
They're
like
going through something, yeah.
So my thing is, I think that Nancy Meyers maybe in the next couple years could just have a big studio be like, oh my God, we need counter programming again.
I hope so.
We need, like, for Avatar 3, that's going to do really well, but the movies are back.
I hope the movies are back. Like, I cannot wait. I think movies are so important, and they are kind of meant to be. There's something special about going and sharing an experience, you know, like with your loved ones, with strangers even. You know, even just going by yourself to a movie or just with your friends, whatever. Like, just seeing something on the big screen, it just has more impact and it makes memories. And like, yeah, you can watch it on streaming later, but that's like so lazy. Like, that's, I don't know, to me, like as like or just the way things are released really gets me. I don't know. I think we do also, you're right, we need counter programming. It can't just be Marvel. That's part of the reason maybe why some people don't go, is because of the Marvel of it all. Because not everyone wants to see that. And it is kind of pandering. It's like, there's such a formula to Marvel movies, and you kind of see it played out over and over. So it is kind of boring. It's unoriginal. The last preview for a Marvel movie I saw when I was at the theater, it was like it was like universes colliding. You know, we've already seen this idea of like multiple universes. I'm over it. Like, it's not creative anymore. It's like, do something different. You know what I mean? It's just.
Well, and I know that there's writers on those films. Well, this is going into like talking even about the writer's strike going on right now.
Yeah.
Where they're like, for late night TV, they're like, well, until the writer's strike is over, we're going to get AI generated writing. Which Marvel and like all those movies, because there's so many writers, your message, it is like AI generated.
Don't get me started on AI.
Okay. Well, what I'm trying to say is, you know, and this maybe is just hopeful, like wishful thinking.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think we're going to stand for that.
I hope not. We better not. I'm not standing for it.
Like, what was I watching recently where I was like, this doesn't seem like it was written by people, and it was like a TV show or something, but it was very off-putting. And I think that's a lot of content now, and I think it is the studios want to greenlight and give money to things that are guaranteed going to make the most money, right? Because that's business.
Yep.
But there's always cycles to things. So I think we're going to be done with this cycle and wanting actual voices again.
Some authenticity.
Yeah, which Nancy is.
Yeah.
Coming back to Nancy Meyers, it is the way she does, like, what, as a filmmaker, she is very authentic to her voice.
I agree. It'd be really cool to see what she has to say about, like, today society and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, today's, because, like, I feel like The Intern does hold up, but, like, it's funny when you watch it because, like, everyone is still obsessed with Instagram. Like, you know what I mean? It's, like, really hitting home, like, the technology and stuff, but we've come a long way since 2015.
Oh my God. Can we talk about her views on the youth and millennials?
It's so funny.
It's so funny. I mean, I
think part of it is accurate for sure, but it's just,
I think it's because, okay, so they're like, the interns are 24. So we're not, to flex, I feel like I'm always like, we're so young.
Yeah.
We're so young, but I feel like
we're babies.
We're so babies. But I feel like the intern is like, her take on millennials is definitely, because we're in that zillennial group, so they're older than us, so it is like so cringe, her take on millennials. But it is so accurate. Like, I know people a little bit older than us that like in 2015 were like, I'm in the workforce now and I know Instagram, and it is very, millennials are so cringy. So she really does hit the nail on that head. But It is so interesting that like gap, even that really like 5-year gap between our age and like the millennials and the intern, where I'd love to see her take on Gen Z even. I know, that would be really interesting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because Gen Z wasn't really there yet. So interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I love the juxtaposition there too, with like Robert De Niro's character just being all old fashioned and bringing his briefcase and not knowing how to turn on a computer. I don't know. But then oddly very technologically savvy in other ways. I know. Yeah. He doesn't know a USB, but he totally can like figure out how to do a camera setup. Yeah. He's a instinctual vlogger for sure. He is an instinct. Yeah, that's his calling. Oh, he could be an influencer. Truly, that would be what if Nancy Meyers' new film is just like The Intern 2, but it's only about Robert De Niro as an influencer telling men how to be men? That's really funny. Actually, that'd be cool. And he brings in young men like charity cases and like houses. It's like Queer Eye, but like, what's his name? Ben Eye. For the working guy. For the working guy. Oh, nice. I like it. I want to see that. Yeah. That is a thing about, I want spinoffs of every single Nancy Meyers Cinematic Universe character. You want to know what happens? What happens? Does Alec Baldwin go back with Amanda Peet and their son Pedro? Sorry. Yes. It did bother me that there's questions and not exactly resolutions, especially in that movie, because it's like, well, because I, in a weird way, I do kind of root for them because I feel like they have so much chemistry. But I totally understand why he might not be good for her. And he also has created his own problems with this like other wife that he has with children, which that's like messy. He's made it complicated. It's not really that complicated for Meryl Streep when you think about it. It's more complicated for him. Another story where Alec Baldwin's character becomes an actor, shoots someone on set. It has to deal with the aftermath. I think that'd be great. That'd be so real. Yeah, let him work it out through the movie. Maybe Amanda Peet, therapeutic. Oh yeah, yes. Oh, Amanda Peet. For some reason stumbles into a lifestyle brand and has success and goes on like Good Morning America and pronounces cucumber really funny and says she's from Spain. Yes, and that's why she has a son named Pedro. Duh. I love this movie, Nick. It's a lot like real life. Yeah, I don't know. It's just off the dome. I don't know where I'm getting all these plot points. Also, like, Meryl and Steve Martin are obviously not going to last because she's not that attracted to him. Yes, they didn't have the chemistry. I want Steve Martin's character to find love. That's true, though. He does deserve it. He's a great guy. Yeah, he's, like, so patient. He's doing the most. He's building her a new kitchen, also amongst other, a new bedroom or something, everything. And he's Nancy Meyers' dream man. Yeah. It's like she stands him up so many times too, and he's still there. He gives her all these chances. That's the fantasy, maybe. It's true. You can have both. You can have all the chances too. Yeah. Okay. Diane Keaton, something's gotta give. Yeah. Jack Nicholson has all those heart problems. Yeah. He has a heart attack, dies. She gets back with Keanu. Yeah. Keanu and her don't work out for some reason. Damn. In this NMCU scenario. But Diane Keaton, her character meets Steve Martin. They link up. Oh, and then Keanu, since he's a doctor, something happens because Anne Hathaway's character in The Intern is always biking around that office. You can't bike around that office. She scrapes her knee or something. She like hurts herself, has like a minor injury. Yeah. Goes to see Keanu because she's vacationing in the Hamptons too, but she's like, I don't want to, or wherever they're located.
Wherever I don't know.
But yeah, she's vacationing. That's how those timelines will link. Okay. She's like, I'm not going to miss out on this vacation. She decides to kick Anders home to the curb because he's garbage.
Yes, good. She should.
For real.
I hated that ending, by the way.
I did too. And then she meets up with Keanu, her doctor, and they end up together.
Hot. I love that. It all works out for everyone. Yes, we need her to tie up the strings. That's what she should be doing. Not a movie with like Penelope Cruz and who else is in this movie that's supposed to be coming out? Owen Wilson?
Nah.
Michael Fassbender? Okay, no offense to Scarlett Johansson. It doesn't... I think that would work well in like the 90s.
Penelope Cruz and Michael Fassbender together would be hot, though.
It would be. I mean, maybe. It could still be hot, but I like this idea of tying up the loose ends and the universes colliding. I know I just said universes colliding's overdone, but not in the NMCU. That has not happened. This is different.
Give the girls and gays what they want.
Yeah.
Anyways, I love how this was supposed to be about her work, and I'm like, but what if we wrote this?
It's our fan fiction. Oh, you can't blame us though. Like, we can't be the only ones having this like fantasy of the worlds colliding.
Nancy Meyers started this.
Yeah, it's her fault.
And if she doesn't end it, we will.
We will.
But would you like to talk about her Nancyisms?
Sure.
Okay. So first, the pretty obvious one, Nancy Meyers' kitchen.
Yeah. She goes hard on those things.
That's her thing. That's her jam. There's Instagrams and articles and bumpin' Spotify playlists all wrapped around Nancy Meyers' kitchen.
Oh, Spotify playlist. That's amazing. You know what? I think we've made our own playlist about playing music in a kitchen. I think it may not be exactly the same songs, but I wonder if subconsciously it was like that idea, you know? The Nancy Meyers kitchen of it all, living a fantasy, a rom-com, you know what I'm saying?
For sure. That and like Practical Magic. Because I dance in that kitchen. I feel like in the she's really tapped into the art of the kitchen. Which...
The kitchen is the heart of the home.
It is.
I fully believe that. Some people don't care about kitchens. I say they're important.
They're not important until you see like a Nancy Meyers level kitchen and then like walk around and breathe in that space, and then you get it. And then you put on like a Nancy Meyers playlist with like a lot of Rat Pack songs. I
want a kitchen with a giant island as big as a bed.
Ooh, one of those like really nice what are they called? Fridges?
Oh my god.
Like a sleek fridge.
Yeah.
Great backsplash.
I want to roll all over the granite like countertops.
Lots of lemons.
Yeah.
Throw them all on me.
Fresh flowers.
Oh my gosh, yes. But yeah, so Nancy Meyers does consider her film sets to function as a character in her films. And the kitchens are all different.
Yes.
Like the Intern kitchen is a very different kitchen. It's a very modern kitchen to like Nancy Meyers' film, the Meryl Streep. It's complicated.
Yeah.
That's a different kitchen. Well, she's also a baker. But you know.
Do you have a favorite Nancy Meyers kitchen, by the way? Or would you need to peep them? Because I also have some.
I want to peep them. I remember the Intern one very vividly. And obviously it's complicated. I do have a really soft spot for the Parent Trap kitchen, but it's also because I want... It's not Jessie. I always say her name wrong. I always have like a sweet spot for Chessie.
Chessie.
So I assume that the Parent Trap kitchen comes with chassis. You know, honestly, my aesthetic, I like the Intern kitchen the best.
I knew it.
It's sleek. It has that like slate,
it's the cool
blue,
tone.
Cool tones. Yeah, I love the lighting fixtures. I love the
the spice shelf, the drawers, the brass handles,
the floating shelves.
Oh, they're floating. Okay, yes.
Love a good floating shelf. So I would say that one, or It's Complicated. I think It's Complicated.
Yes.
It's great.
I love It's Complicated. I think that's my favorite kitchen.
Again with the floating shelves. But it's also like a huge island.
Yes.
Where it's really inviting because she's a baker.
My fantasy. I want to be a baker. Like when I'm older.
You should.
I think that I'm going to go through like a really strong baking phase. Maybe open my own bakery. Just a feeling.
Do it. But yes, I like It's Complicated. So is that one your fave?
I think that one's my fave. I think it's also a little, for me, reminiscent of cottagecore. Maybe it's also because she has like a garden or something. Like just the house in general. Like I'm like, ooh. Because it feels sort of secluded. You know what I mean?
I love that house. It's so inviting.
Yes.
Like It's Complicated is definitely like, oh, this is a wealthy white woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's like home for sure. But there's an element to, I think, all of Nancy Meyers' kitchens that is homey.
Yes.
And it fits the character. Like It's Complicated, for example, that island has all the seating for like her guests and her kids and for her to cook. And it's kind of like her stage.
Yep.
I think it's a very cool touch.
I love that. Yeah. But I mean, the Intern one's like a close second. Like it's beautiful. And especially if you're in like one of the brown, is it a brown house? What are they called?
Brownstones.
Brownstones.
Dream.
Yeah. I feel like it fits like, were they in Brooklyn?
Brooklyn.
Yeah. It definitely fits that vibe, you know? So I think, yeah, if I lived in Brooklyn, that would be like an ideal kitchen.
Brooklyn. Chia.
Chia. It's your boy.
I do, if we're talking about interiors, not necessarily kitchen, but interiors, I love Nick's apartment and What Women Want.
Yes.
I love it.
He does have a nice apartment.
Why do I think I want his apartment more than any of the other Nancy Meyers movies, just because the space where, you know, it does look cozy, but it looks sleek enough. And he has like that long hallway where he's just dancing.
And tall ceilings.
Yes.
And a record collection.
I love it. Oh, all the windows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm like, this is a vibe. I could hang out here. I love how in the movies, too, we spend time in these locations and like the setting is important. Like I've noticed there's like a bit of like a score of music. It's like, it's not exactly classical music. I don't know how to describe it, but along those lines, maybe jazzy kind of, you know what I mean? Where you're just like in a scene for a moment. There's no dialogue. Mm-hmm. It just sets the tone. And I really enjoy that. And also if we're talking about interiors, I really enjoyed Ben's closet in The Intern.
Yes.
Like it was so organized. It's like a dream closet.
Those ties that are just like very like high tech.
Yes. I don't know, all the cubes where his shirts are. Like it was just like gorgeous. I'm like really jelly.
Did the home edit come in and like zhuzh up his closet? Like why is his closet so immaculate? Maybe because he like loves life and treats his life like
he does. He's a good example of like, I don't know, like self-care. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow, he gets dressed every day. I'm like, I'm inspired.
He knows boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that. Speaking of like jazzy soundtracks, can we talk about the Nancy Meyers needle drops?
Sure.
Okay, so in a Nancy Meyers film, she always has like a rap hacky, like a something's gotta give boopity bop song. But then it's usually in the beginning of her films or around the beginning, she includes some contemporary music.
She does.
That I love so much, but always baffles me.
Yeah.
Like, can you tell me why in Something's Gotta Give, the song to like establish that we're in like the now, living life as modern people, is Butterfly by Crazy Town?
Wait, how does that song go? Why does that sound familiar?
Butterfly, sugar, baby. That song is like in the beginning of it. Why?
Oh my god, I forgot. I guess to establish, like, to connect with the youth, maybe. Just, I don't know.
Truly, because in 2003 we were still listening to Crazy Town.
We were, right? Kind of, no?
But I think Nancy Meyers, maybe.
She was.
She was like, have you heard this song?
She's like, this slaps. I gotta find a way to include this.
I love how Mel Gibson in What Women Want, he's like going through his daughter's CDs.
Oh, yes. That's one of my favorite parts of that movie.
Same. And he lands on the modern day needle drop in that movie is Bitch by Meredith Brooks.
Love it. And he fully is singing it and getting into it. Like, that's like the best part of the movie for me. Like, he's feeling himself. Like, he's like he's really trying to get that female perspective, and he's just
for real. I love
vibing.
Also, I love, like, this is the Nancy Meyers-ism too, like showing a more vulnerable side to these like manly men.
Yeah,
but I love seeing Mel Gibson sing "Bitch" into himself in the mirror. While he paints his nails and smokes a cigarette,
puts on his little facial.
Yes, tries to wax his legs.
Oh my god, love it.
I also love how he does that all again, thinking that the spell will go away if he just does it again.
That was funny. That was genius, though, except for the part where he goes outside with the hairdryer to electrocute himself, because he gets struck by lightning. And I feel like if you did that in real life, you probably would just die.
Kill yourself.
Yeah, like, that's not... I hope no one looks at that and thinks, oh, this is a great idea. Like, I need to, like, read women's minds. Let me try to go out in the rain and, like, electrocute myself. I don't know. Just saying.
Oh, and speaking of needle drops, too. The Intern, cringy 2014 music. So there's, like, the I by Kendrick Lamar, which I get. It's cool. It's a cool choice.
Sure.
But then Nancy Meyers decides to follow that directly up with All About That Bass.
Oh my god, I don't remember this. I think I blocked it out because we just had a conversation about that song and how it's scarred us. And yeah, because in my notes, I think I completely skipped over that.
Well, no, it's like it starts off like introducing Jules's office with I by Kendrick Lamar, which you get. But then when Ben walks in the office, like a scene or two later, it's all about that bass.
Oh my god.
To really just cement the 2015 of it all, I think. Isn't
there also a scene, like, where, you know, like when they break into, like Anne Hathaway, her character, like she sends her mom, like, this mean
that she
email.
Calls a terrorist?
Yeah, that's the subject line is, my mom is a terrorist, and then it says, what does it say? Like, why is she such a raging bitch? And it's like, she's like, oh my god, I didn't mean to send that to her. We have to go. It's like a whole operation. It's like a heist, and like Robert De Niro, he's like, we gotta.
Yes.
He like orchestrates. He's like, I know, we just gotta break in there and get the computer. It'll be easy. And he gets his like the other interns or whatever in on it. But the one guy in the car, in the getaway car, is he like singing Busta Rhymes or something? Like, he's just like, that part cracked me up.
I wonder if that was like an Adam Devine like suggestion. I know Nancy Meyers is very meticulous, but I wonder if he was like, well,
yeah,
do you know I can rap to this?
Whose idea was that?
Yeah.
It's funny seeing him try to keep up with the rhymes, though.
True. I do love, too, there is a reference to Workaholics in The Intern, like Adam Devine, something about Anders Holmes' character. He makes like I know him, or something about, there's a Workaholics reference, which I appreciate.
Cool beans.
But yeah. You know, she takes a year to write her films, followed by 6 months of filming and another 6 months of editing. It's a long time.
That is a long time. But, you know.
Worth it.
Worth it.
But yeah, she's so aesthetically involved which
it shows.
Love.
I feel like all her movies too, like they do seem to be in the same universe. Like style wise, they all have this almost like a sunniness to them, like a warm tone, if that makes sense. Like visually, like it just feels like
it's like coming home.
Like, yeah. It's just comforting. I don't know. I like it.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, this could be just like two white females being like, it's like coming home. But I think there is like an aspect where you don't have to be a white affluent woman to like feel like, I think with casting, she does that as well. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. It's like, you know, if I see Meryl Streep on screen or Diane Keaton or Steve Martin, I know I'm safe. Yeah. It's like, I can take a load off.
Relax. I don't have to like, yeah, I know what you mean.
Robert DeNiro is playing a kind man. Like, I can just like, he's got this.
Yeah.
You know, if he can do like Taxi Driver, he can do this.
Totally.
You know? I love that aspect. You know, I found this article from Bustle back in 2020. Dana Schwartz, she was praising the Nancy Meyers of it all and her work. And she said, where Hollywood desexualizes and disposes of women over 40, Nancy Meyers celebrates them, showing them as women who have crushed their careers and become financially stable enough to buy objectively stunning pieces of property. Which I think is kind of just like a better way to say what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Just, I think her films, the casting, the aesthetics, the interiors, it's all on purpose. Like Taylor Swift, she's a mastermind and it all comes together.
She is. Yeah. She is a mastermind.
Yeah.
I'm thinking how we've like watched these kind of, it's interesting. Like I know we also watched First Wives Club. I know that's not Nancy Meyers, but like it has a similar feeling or similar themes to me.
For sure.
I don't know.
Why do we, and I know this is what we talked about when we talked about First Wives Club, but isn't it so interesting? Like Coastal Grandmother, that trend last year in 2020 was by a gal our age, like a 26-year-old TikToker who like is so inspired by Nancy Meyers films and this kind of aesthetic and wanting to recreate that. Why as young people why do we gravitate?
I really do think it is like, because that's going to be like that we eventually will be like middle-aged, and it's kind of scary to think about.
I'll be totally like Goldie Hawn. I'm just warning you right now.
You're like, fill them up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I get it. But like, I think it's like a comfort in knowing you'll be okay, maybe, or just like leaning into that. I don't know. There's still more ahead. I don't know.
It's a generational thing too. I mean, like I think about my mom or my aunts or, the women in my life, like the older women in my life, how none of them are married anymore. They're all divorced.
They're okay. They're like thriving.
They're thriving, just like in a Nancy Meyers movie. And I think that's that like age where you're coming up as like working women and like the 80s and, that wave of feminism. And
it might be a bit romanticized, but I'm here for it. Like,
I am too.
I'm here for the fantasy. I don't know.
But I rather life be like that. I'd rather have that example and that shown in like a Nancy Meyers movie and in media than like a spinster.
Yeah.
I will say I really wonder, like talking about the Intern, which Jules is still older than us, but she's what we've been told is our modern day version of a successful woman, and it doesn't work out for her really. Like she's cursed by it essentially. Like it's true, like in that scene where she realizes her husband's cheating on her.
Yeah.
And she's basically like, well, yeah, that dum-dum, he's going to find someone else. Because, he's a stay-at-home dad. He has that cachet. But unfortunately, she's probably not going to find someone else. which is going to lead to like the Nancy Meyers.
Oh my God, we can
fantasy.
have a follow-up. Like, I don't know.
And then it's Keanu.
Yes. I still am here for that.
But
I hated that ending too. Like, I feel like he had the worst excuse and it was really lame. It's like, sorry, babe, I made a mistake. And I don't know. It just like, it was like really, I don't know. It bothered me. Like, I get it that she wanted them to be back together, but I'm like, should she? I don't know. Cause like Bob DeNiro's character, he gave her like a real talk, like a good like friend would. And I'm just like,
but
girl.
it's true. It is like what happens next.
Yeah.
For a successful
They have a kid
woman.
too.
Yeah.
But still, I'm like, I don't know.
I think it does just put up a mirror.
It's complicated.
It's really complicated.
Maybe she will have an affair with Keanu and they'll stay married. It'll be messy.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Hopefully. But it is a fear that even I have. I wonder if that keeps certain women from having success.
Like being successful and having a relationship and just like having it all.
Because can you have it all? I don't know.
I think you can with the right person. I totally think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bob De Niro says you can. So
hopefully.
Feminist icon.
Yes.
Bob De Niro.
Truly. Now a father at 79 again.
Oh my God.
Congrats, Bobby.
That's pretty wild.
Any other thoughts on the Nancyisms in the Nancy Meyers cinematic universe?
Yes, actually. I noticed there's like a theme in her films. Like there's a lot of nuances to life. And a lot of things are not right or wrong. You know, like, and it's complicated, like the whole affair situation. There's not like judgment placed on it, you know, even in the Intern. Well, I don't personally agree with the decision at the end, you know, but it's still kind of like right and wrong. You know what I mean? Like there's this kind of like, it's almost like a relief in a way that you can like maybe make mistakes or like just go through things and things are not good or bad. Like I kind of appreciate that because I feel like we do kind of live sometimes in that like black and white thinking, just like our world just, you know, we place judgment on people sometimes without really, I don't know. I just think it's refreshing. And especially for like the protagonists, like their point of view, just, I don't know. I like the like non-judgmental, just like people making like maybe poor decisions or like we're not, you know, we don't have to be so harsh or so harsh on ourselves. My takeaway.
I agree. I also like, if I'm going to revert it back to Taylor Swift again.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, because she's rumored to be dating Matty Healy, are like, this is bad. And assuming this is the person she's going to end up with, which is very anti-feminist to me. It's icky. Because I love the idea of life being very nuanced and messy, like in a Nancy Meyers film, because I think Nancy Meyers, her characters, her protagonists are always females, that it's truly, like in movies where males are the protagonist, it's truly about them and their happiness, their wants, and their ability to have these peaks and valleys. Nothing's good, nothing's bad. It's just life.
Yeah.
And I think we need to have that with ourselves, for one, but with other people too. Like, go through a messy era, or like at the end of the day, you're great on your own. Yeah. With the person there, without.
Right.
It's all okay. So I love the whole.
That is the takeaway, and I love that. Yeah, and I love like, and it's complicated, like when Meryl Streep's like having that affair, her friends are like, yes, you go. I mean, there was like one friend who's like, I don't know, isn't that kind of, but they're like, do your thing, like it, you know, just go through. I don't know, life has ups and downs, and
you're allowed to make mistakes. It makes life really interesting. If you're just like a saint all the time, you've lived the most boring life. It's like the least, I don't want to throw around the word feminist, but it's like internalized misogyny that I feel like a lot of women especially have that judgment. And I love in a Nancy Meyers film that they don't. Because it's like, why do women have to be perfect?
Yeah.
In order to be worthy.
I agree. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like there's just like deeper messages in her films and I just really appreciate it. Like she really taps into something.
I agree. I think that is so cool too. I think like a Nancy Meyers or Nora Ephron, these female voices from a female gaze or a female perspective, they're very important.
I agree.
And I think that's why women are attracted to it. That's why I'm attracted. Like, even though Sex and the City, for example, is like created by a man, directed by a man, there's so many female writers, and it shows like Carrie is an anti-hero. And I think like
back to Taylor Swift.
Back to Taylor Swift. Well, Taylor Swift's writing her own narrative. This is all her. Well, she's writing it because it is her life, for one. But her stories through her music, her songwriting, it's all her, which is very powerful. So it's empowering. But even, like, all these characters in a Nancy Meyers movie, or if we watch like a Sex and the City, it's like, I think they respond like to women so deeply.
Yeah.
Is because they're able to not just like think like a man, like they're nuanced, and it's empowering to see females fuck up and still be worthy.
Yes. Like I love in The Intern when Anne Hathaway's character is like vomiting in the dumpsters outside. That vulnerability is, I feel like it is important to show both sides, I guess.
Well, that scene too, not to talk about Taylor Swift again, but like, you know, in Anti-Hero, the line where she's talking about, you know, being too tall for everyone, like a monster on a hill.
Yeah.
Jules, Anne Hathaway's character in The Intern, when she goes out and celebrates with the interns and like drinks, you know, Ben's kind of warning her about boundaries, essentially. Like, you can't really do this with your coworkers, but she's kind of the same age as them, and she's being a little more messy, but you can't do, you know, there's like that pitfall of being a successful woman who created like a startup that's successful in 18 months, you know?
Yeah.
Just to relate it back to Taylor Swift. But I feel like it is that like monster on a hill complex where it's like too big to hang out with people now, and you're just alone, you know?
They do kind of show that, yeah. I think she's low-key depressed throughout that movie, but...
Well, and she finds Robert De Niro as a friend, as someone that she can actually talk to, because she can't hang out with her interns who are her age.
No.
She's the CEO now, you know?
Yeah.
So... everyone needs a friend.
Agreed. Yeah. I feel like, I mean, friendships are also important too, I feel like, in these movies. Yeah. I don't know. I just love Nancy Meyers films.
I do too.
I want to live in them. Like, I want a Rain Man, just like style watch all these.
Same.
On a loop.
Just on a loop. Do you start with like a Private Benjamin or a Baby Boom, or do you start with The Parent Trap?
Was The Parent Trap, is that like her technical director's debut, by the way?
Yes.
You know what's really interesting is she came out. She came out as a director when she was like 48, which is like middle age, which is really cool. It makes so much sense that she uses that perspective in her films as well. I don't know, because she's also, I feel like that's probably her peak of success when she like started directing, doing things on her own.
Well, in a back to First Wives Club, I think Goldie Hawn's character is essentially like Nancy Meyers, like
right?
She's kind of the brain behind all the Charles Shire films, but he gets the credit. He's the director. He's the man.
Yeah,
and then they get divorced. She directs. Just the art of the pivot, which I've been talking about in my personal life lately. Just being able to pivot. Like, you're never too young. You're never too old. That's what Nancy Meyers movies really...
That's what she says.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Resonate with me. It's because, like, the art of the pivot.
I love that. Yeah.
Well, anything else before we rank our NMCU movies?
Oh man, that's gonna be so hard. Not really. I feel like we've covered a lot.
I feel like that too. I hope I didn't go on too many rants and too many Taylor Swift. So this is going to be, sorry, Brie, that you have to edit this.
Never be sorry for editing.
Going to be like, Nikki, shut up.
No, not at all.
Okay. The Parent Trap, 1998. What's your ranking?
Wait, is this, what's my ranking? Oh, are we going?
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Brie, what's your ranking? I just assumed. I'm like, The Parent Trap is number one.
Like, collectively. I mean, probably, honestly. Okay, yes. My personal ranking, The Parent Trap is number one. Number two, It's Complicated. Number three, The Intern. This is hard. Now, I didn't really make it this far on I haven't ranked them to myself, so I'm doing it in real time. Well, because I do really enjoy The Holiday, so I don't want to put that one last, Okay, I think I'm ready. So The Parent Trap, It's Complicated, The Intern, What Women Want, The Holiday, and then Something's Gotta Give.
As last? Something's Gotta Give?
I love Something's Gotta Give, but I don't know. Or Something's Gotta Give and then maybe The Holiday.
Word.
I don't know. Even because maybe the nostalgia of it for me,
Yeah.
I do love The Holiday, but then I don't know. Yeah, I feel like that's my ranking. How about you?
I love them all.
I know. I want to put them all on number one, to be honest. It's really hard because I feel like they're all
all number one.
Even playing field.
Okay. Disclaimer, The Parent Trap is one of my favorite movies of all time. Don't think it's her best film, but just know my ranking is The Parent Trap, no matter where it's ranked on this list, doesn't mean it's not in my top 5 favorite films of all time.
Got it.
Just speaking of Nancy films. Okay, number one.
Wait, your number one's not going to be The Parent Trap?
I don't think so. As far as Nancy films.
Yeah.
Okay, my number one is Something's Gotta Give.
Wow.
I think this is Nancy Meyers' best film because it says everything Nancy Meyers films are trying to say. And it's beautiful. And I love seeing Diane Keaton at the beach.
Yeah, actually,
in a bucket.
I might have to change my rankings.
Number two, It's Complicated. Number three, The Intern. Number 4, The Holiday. Number 5, The Parent Trap. Number 6, What Women Want.
All right.
But just know The Parent Trap is one of my favorite movies of all time. So this is only in the Nancy verse.
I know. I think that's what I struggled with too. I'm I love that movie so much. It's got to be number one. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. So good that we had the same number 2s and 3s.
Interesting. I mean, I love It's Complicated. That might be that actually might be my number one.
Yeah, honestly, it might be.
Okay, if we're doing personal, okay, I change it. If I'm going with my heart, what I love and what I think is Nancy's best, It's Complicated, The Intern, then Something's Gotta Give, then The Parent Trap, then The Holiday, then What Women Want.
I agree mostly, but I feel like What Women Want, I enjoyed a lot more than I expected, and I would rank it a little higher. But I'm with you on the first, 3.
It's Complicated, Something's Gotta Give, The Intern?
Yeah. And then What Women Want. Or What Women Want, I don't know.
I think it's a good movie, but it's her worst.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? The ending part was a little weird, actually, now that I think about it. I was a little confused.
It's a great blank check movie. It got Nancy Meyers in the door so she can make Something's Gotta Give.
Yeah. Yeah, Something's Gotta Give is a little better.
Also has Keanu in it.
It does. Can't beat that.
Any movie with Keanu is extra points.
Totally. Whew. That was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do.
I know. So hard. Thank you for listening. Please rate and review. Rank your favorite Nancy Meyers films.
Yeah.
Just in our review. Just like be like, Nikki and Brie are great. Anyways, The Parent Trap, The Intern, something's gotta give.
Yeah, just get right into it. We need to know.
Yes.
We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.